Hi, sixth graders. So for fourth quarter, we're starting a new unit called Global Cultures. So we're going to be reading chapter 12.3 in our Discovery Education Social Studies textbook, and you will find that chapter under World Geography and Cultures, under courses. So we have linked the chapter sections to Google Classroom. So I'm going to read aloud the explore sections 1, 2, and 3, and then go ahead and walk you through your notes. Remember that you can pause or stop the video at any time so that you can then read at your own pace, highlight at your own pace, or write in your notes at your own pace. So the title of chapter 12.3 is Citizens of the World. And the essential question is, has global contact and migration created a more culturally united or divided world? So for part 1, for our notes, we are only going to be reading Explore sections 1, 2, and 3. So you can see in our notes here that we're only reading about the motivation behind a move, voluntary and involuntary migration, and refugee populations. So before we read Explore section 1, you can see that what we are going to be defining are the words migration, push factors, examples of push factors. We're going to define pull factors and examples of pull factors. Again, our essential question is, has global contact and migration created a more culturally united or divided world? So when I go back to my Explore section 1, we're going to skip this vocabulary chart because we have our own notes. And we're going to look for the answers to the question, what are push and pull factors and how do they influence migration? Okay. Remember, I'm going to be highlighting things that I think are important that I could potentially add to my notes. Has your family always lived in the same town or city? Chances are you might live in the same place now where you were born and raised. One or both of your parents may have once lived in a different area. Do you know what brought your family to the place where you now live? Do you know the reasons they left the place where they used to live? The movement of people who leave one place to live in another is called migration. I'm going to highlight that. This could be a move from one country to another. It could also be one region to another or one town to another. There are many reasons why someone might want to migrate out of a region. The reasons that cause humans to migrate from an area are called push factors. I'm going to highlight that. That's something I need for my notes. Natural disasters, such as Hurricane Katrina, are common push factors. Wars and other armed conflicts that make it unsafe to live in a particular region are also push factors. These reasons leave people without enough water and food supplies for long periods of time. In the past 10 years, more than 1 million people have left the war-torn country of Somalia. Somalia is in Eastern Africa. Because people left there because of fighting, drought, and famine. Political persecution and poverty can be push factors too. Political persecution is when people are punished for their political views, and poverty is when people are too poor to support themselves. Unemployment also can cause people to move. All right, so now I'm going to highlight the information about push factors in blue. So natural disasters, wars and conflicts. I'm going to highlight that in blue. So we have war-torn countries, and remember from Desperation at Sea, we read about Ali, the 15-year-old boy who traveled from Somalia to Europe to leave Somalia because things are so bad there. I'm going to highlight people left Somalia because of drought and famine, political persecution, and poverty. Those are all push factors. Unemployment is also, that's when people cannot find jobs. There are not enough jobs for the people who live there. Okay. So I actually think this is an important sentence too. People leave without enough food and water. Oh, sorry. Close. There we go. Never mind. Let's move down to this paragraph. Push factors are not the only reasons that cause people to migrate. Pull factors are often involved too. Pull factors are reasons that attract people to a region. The desire to be closer to family members is a common pull factor. Another reason is the desire to live in a different climate. Other pull factors include the chances for better jobs and educational opportunities. These last reasons help explain much of the current rural to urban migration. In the 1950s, most people lived in rural agricultural areas, so out in the country. Fewer than 30% of the people on the planet lived in cities. By 2000, that percentage had climbed to nearly 50%. By 2025, the figure is expected to rise to 60%. Many people decide to move to cities because they hope to find good jobs. They also hope to meet new people. Most people enjoy higher levels of living in cities and like having more entertainment choices. All right, so pull factors is something that we need to know. So this is the definition of a pull factor. What attracts people to a region. So here are some reasons here. I'm going to highlight those in blue, sorry. A common pull factor is living closer to family members, living in a different climate that's a better climate, better jobs and educational opportunities, and then it also helps to understand the rural to urban migration, why people moved from the country or out in the kind of farmland or out in rural areas to the cities. Often, push and pull factors are related. For example, there are people who live in crowded areas. In these areas, the prices of food and housing are high and the pay is low. High prices and low wages could be push factors causing them to leave. Most likely, the people will look to move to a region where there are fewer residents and the cost of living is lower. These would be pull factors drawing them to this new location. Okay, so this is a good sentence to highlight. Often push and pull factors are related. Okay, so high prices and low wages could be push factors, forcing people to leave. Okay, and then people look to move to a region where there are fewer residents and the cost of living is lower. Okay, that would be a pull factor. All right, so we are now ready to go to our notes, okay, and fill in our notes accordingly. So, define migration. The movement of people who live in one place who leave one place to live in another is called migration. This could be a move from one country to another. It could also be one region to another or one town to another. The reasons that cause humans to migrate from an area are called push factors. That's what the definition of push factors is. Examples of push factors: natural disasters such as Hurricane Katrina are common push factors. Wars and other armed conflicts that make it unsafe to live in a particular region are also push factors. Drought and famine, political persecution and poverty can be push factors too. Political persecution is when people are punished for their political views, and poverty is when people are too poor to support themselves. Unemployment also can cause people to move. Okay, the definition of pull factors. Pull factors are reasons that attract people to a region. Give examples of pull factors. The desire to be closer to family members is a common pull factor. Another reason is the desire to live in a different climate. Other pull factors include the chances for better jobs and educational opportunities. Many people decide to move to cities because they hope to find good jobs. They also hope to meet new people. Most people enjoy higher levels of living in cities and like having more entertainment choices. So, Explore Section 1 of Chapter 12.3 is all about migration and push and pull factors. What pushes people to leave where they're from, and what pulls them or attracts them to move to another region, town, or city. So I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to create another video, read aloud of Explore Section 2 and 3. This was a long chapter to read, and there are a lot of notes for you to add to your notes. So I'm going to stop here, and then I will create another video.